everyone, and welcome to my How Many Comics Can I Read in a Day vlog. I'm currently attempting a 30 graphic novels in 30 days challenge because this month is the graphics-a-thon. This is the bingo board, and you don't have to try and read 30 graphic novels in 30 days to try and do this, but I decided I wanted to because apparently I didn't read enough comics last month for Deadpool and Wolverine, and I've decided I want to read even more comics. So today what I'm going to be doing is trying to read as many comics as I physically can in one day, because currently it is the 7th of August and I've currently only read 2 things, so I am massively behind at the moment. So let's talk about my TBR for the day and then get into actually reading some comics. I've currently got a few things on loan from the library. So I've got I Think Our Son Is Gay Volume 2, which is this really fun, really sweet little comic about a mother who is reflecting on her relationship with her son and thinking maybe he's gay, and she's just talking about how much she loves him and accepts him even if he isn't gay, if he is gay, whether he decides to come out, whether he doesn't, all of this kind of thing. It is really fun, really sweet. I've been wanting to continue on with this series for a while, so I definitely want to read this now, especially before my library hold runs out. I've also got Garlic and the Vampire, which is this really sweet middle grade graphic novel. I don't really know much about it further than I've heard quite a few people absolutely raving about it, so again that's come through from my library, so I really want to read that. I've also got things like Black Hammer Volume 2. Obviously there's also Wriggle Room and things like this. I've obviously got a Kindle, or tablet I should say, full of various different comics I also haven't read yet, but at the moment I'm going to focus on the library holds and the things that are series that I really want to continue and go from there. And I think I'm going to start with Garlic the Vampire, just because that is a middle grade one, so I think it's going to be really quick, which will be a great way to start this off. Also, a middle grade graphic novel is one of the graphics-a-thon prompts, and this is the only comic I have that's actually going to cover that prompt, so I'm going to start there and we'll go from there. So let's start with Garlic the Vampire. Before I start reading, I should also mention that one of the prompts for the graphics-a-thon is to have a random number generator pick how many pages you're going to read today. So I'm going to give myself a maximum of 300 because I want this reasonably doable, and let's see what I get. 212. Okay, so I need to read 212 pages today at the very least. That seems reasonably doable because a lot of the graphic novels I have are around sort of 120 or so should be reasonably doable. Finished Garlic and the Vampire, and that was a really fun, really little sweet comic, all about basically enchanted fruit and veg that can talk and have arms and legs and all the rest of it, and they're helping a witch in a garden, and then they see the local castle has been inhabited again, and they realise it's a vampire, and they send Garlic out to essentially try and stop the vampire and get rid of the vampire, because they're like, it's a vampire, it's going to terrorise the neighbourhood and everything. And then it turns out that the vampire is actually really nice, and they just kind of work together and things. And this was a really sweet comic, I think, all about not like believing first impressions, or not first impressions, but believing prejudice about people before you meet them and working together, this kind of thing. I think it was really sweet. I do wish Celery had maybe had a little bit more of a comeuppance than they actually did, because they didn't really get any comeuppance for what they did. I won't go into it properly because spoilers, but generally that was a really sweet, really fun comic. I think I'm going to be giving it 4 stars, and that took me about 15 minutes, so we're on to a great start already. But that was really fun, really sweet, and that is going to cover a couple of prompts already for the readathon, which is also fantastic. I should also mention that Garlic and the Vampire has now given me 160 pages read, which means I only have to read 82? No, 62 pages, and then I've reached the page goal. So I'm going to read I Think Our Son Is Gay Volume 2, and I'm pretty sure that's over 100 pages, so I'll be well over that already. So I'm going to do that now as well. How many pages is this according to... Right, does it tell me? 133. Okay, once I've read this, I'll be well over that page count, which is brilliant. That's another prompt ticked off today. Like, this is his brother saying, I don't really understand, like, get the thing called love, but seeing my brother, I can kind of tell that I might be looking right at it, because he's talking to another boy who he may have a crush on and things like this. And I just really like that none of them are treating him differently, even though they suspect that he may be gay or something, and they're just loving him exactly as he is and things like this. I just think it's really sweet and really fun how that happens, and just how this entire family just loves their son, essentially, or their brother and things like this. I just think it's really, really sweet, and I just really sort of get the warm and fuzzies feeling, like, while reading this. Not as much as I did with, like, Heartstopper, for example, but definitely I do get the warm and fuzzies reading this, I won't lie. I also want to say that this manga doesn't just cover the fact that this mother thinks her son is gay or something. She's also talking about queerness in general and things like this as well, because someone she works with has a boyfriend, and they are male presenting as well, and one of the other co-workers said that it's such a waste that he's gay, and now she's thinking back on it, thinking, yeah, obviously I always imagined a future where my son would have a wife and a family and things like this, but then she said this, like, but if Mr. Tono is gay and he's living the life he wants to, where is the waste in that? And I just love that so much, because you so often get that it's such a waste that he's gay thing, and it's very much like, but if he's living his life the exact way he wants to, he's happy with it, how is that a waste? I just really, really like this about this manga, I will say. And now I've just finished I Think Our Son Is Gay Volume 2, and this is just such a sweet manga, I will say. It is very, very family friendly actually as well. I think it's very sort of kid friendly, teenager friendly, all of this kind of thing, and it is just a wonderful read. It just sort of, you end up reading it with like a massive smile on your face the whole time, and sort of seeing how this mother and how this family just love their child, their brother, and like their relation essentially, just is really wonderful to read. And seeing these characters grow and unlearn harmful things and start to grow more into themselves and get new interests and have new experiences, all of this kind of thing is just really, really wonderful to read. It's just such a wonderful manga to read. I have a massive smile, like I said, on my face the whole time I'm reading it, and it's filled with such a positive message and things like this. I definitely recommend it. Even if you aren't a fan of manga, I'd say it's a pretty good one to maybe start with, because it's such an easy read and things like this. It is just really fun, really, really sweet, really sort of slice of life kind of thing, and I just really, really enjoy it. And again, it is getting 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. And now I have read everything I had borrowed from the library, so I think I may go on to Black Hammer Volume 2 now, because it's the only Black Hammer volume I've currently got, and I've been meaning to continue on with that series for a while now, so I think I'm going to start there now and see what I feel like after I've read that one. But I think we're going to start with Black Hammer now, because I'm feeling like I want something sort of sci-fi fantasy type thing, and I know this one's about superheroes and stuff, and I am very much still in a superhero mood. I decided to read Sweet Tooth instead, just because I have it on Prime Reading. It went off Prime Reading for a really long time, and then it's just come back again, so I'm like, well, I recently finished the TV show, I'll give the comic a try. And I will say that the artwork is not doing it for me at all. It's just really, really not working for me. I find it quite messy, and it's just not really appealing to me at the moment. The storyline kind of is. If you don't know what the storyline of Sweet Tooth is, it is essentially a pandemic story, in the sense that the world has been affected by the sick, and it has basically decimated the human population. But at the same time as this happened, a whole bunch of hybrid children have been born. So people like Gus, who have antlers and deer ears, things like this, and they've just got animal like traits to them. So in the TV show, there's a young girl who's got a pig nose and pig ears. There's also a young boy who looks like a hedgehog, and he's like the size of a hedgehog and all the rest of it. You've got an elephant kid, a monkey kid, all of this kind of thing. They're just crocodile kid, actually, there's a crocodile kid as well. all of this kind of thing, and there's just loads of kids who are born with hybrid traits, essentially. And we're following Gus, who is the main character with the antlers and all the rest of it, as you can see in this shot here, as he is trying to find his mother after his father has died, because his father's kept him away in the woods, safe from everybody, safe from hunters who are hunting down hybrids, safe from the sick, all the rest of it. But his father's just died of the sick, and Gus has been left on his own, and he meets Jeopard, who is another human who wants nothing really to do with him, but he gets dragged into it, and helping Gus try to find his mother and going on this big sort of coming of age adventure while they're trying to save the world from the sick, all of this kind of thing, which is really fun, really interesting. I really enjoyed the TV show. The kid playing Gus was an incredible actor, I will say. Like, give him all of the awards. He was only like 12, 13 at the time, and he was incredible in the role. Absolutely no faults there. The TV show itself was just really, really fun, really, really good. And the comic, while the artwork isn't doing it for me, the storyline kind of is, because it's a very, very similar storyline, only this time Gus has lost his father to the sick, and he's just met Jeopard, who saved him from a couple of hunters, and Jeopard's like, come with me, I can help you find the sanctuary, which is for hybrid children, essentially. And while I don't essentially trust that at the moment, because I'm like, is that actually what's going to happen? Because Jeopard is a very different character in the TV show. They could have changed it for the TV show, I don't know, but yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I will say finding the compare and contrast between the comic and the TV show is quite fun, but the artwork, not really doing it for me right now, but we shall see if it grows on me. I've just finished Sweet Tooth, and this was just alright, I guess you could say. It definitely left it on a cliffhanger, and definitely covers a lot of like triggering topics, I will say, before I go anywhere else. There is a lot of death, violence, blood, guns, gore in some places, a lot of religious talk as well, about praying the like for salvation and all of this kind of thing, and very deep sort of religious moments throughout here. There is also hints at sexual exploitation and sexual slavery, and possibly a 15-year-old being caught in this, as well as kidnapping a 9-year-old as well to like be a sort of sexual slave in a lot of ways. So please be warned about that. There's a lot of that kind of thing. There's a talk of experimentation on children. There's a lot of deep topics in here, so please be warned about all of that. I'll leave all of them like here, so you can look them up for yourself and see if this is one for you. I will say that the artwork didn't really grow on me at all throughout here either, but the actual storyline was quite good. But I don't think I'm going to continue it, because I think, to be honest, I just prefer the TV show. That's probably an unpopular opinion, I know, but I just preferred how the TV show did things and how that worked. I preferred the characters and the storyline in that, so I think for now I'm going to leave this. It is not necessarily a bad comic. I would definitely not say it's a bad comic whatsoever. It just isn't for me when I have already seen the TV show and really enjoyed the TV show. So I think I'm just going to stick with the show and not the comic. It wasn't horrendous or anything like that. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. It's just not exactly working for me. And now I think I'm going to have a quick break, maybe to have lunch, and then I'm going to start on Black Hammer, I think, or maybe another one of my Prime reading things. I'll have a look. Either way, I'll be reading another comic after lunch, but right now I need a break because I'm hungry. I'm just about to start Black Hammer Volume 2, and if you don't know what Black Hammer is, it is essentially a comic about superheroes, because I am me. There is no way I'm doing a comic book vlog without talking about superheroes at some point, and this is like their own superheroes of this world specifically, and they have been pulled out of their universe into a slightly different one, and they're trapped essentially in this very small town on a farm, essentially, and they're trying to get back out again. And I've just realised this is also written by Jeff Lemire, who also did Sweet Tooth. It's a small world in the comic book world, or I just seem to gravitate towards the same sort of authors like Jeff Lemire, like Jason Aaron, Jonathan Hickman, Brian Michael Bendis, people like this. So interesting, just thought I'd point that out quickly before I get started on this second volume. Already I'm enjoying the artwork a lot more, but I just want to point out this bit here. We've just had a guy who works in a soup kitchen has just come across someone who's been mugged, and they are unfortunately fatally wounded, and they have a hammer next to them, and they're saying whoever is pure and worthy will be able to hold the hammer. And it's like, well, that sounds familiar, that's Thor. And then if you look here, the dog looks very much like a smaller version of Lockjaw, even down to the little sort of antenna thing on his head, because Lockjaw, if I remember rightly, is something very, very similar to that. And then the guy at the back looks like Odin. I mean, I love it when comics do stuff like this and they're clearly sort of taking inspiration from other superheroes who you know on sight, things like this. I just think that's really brilliant. Just wanted to quickly point it out. One thing I've got to say about Black Hammer as well that I really appreciate is that every single time we get a bit of backstory about one of the heroes, the artwork and stuff changes. So this one is all about Colonel Weird, and as you can see, it looks very different to the other bit I just showed you. And then also on top of that, this one is styled more like a 1960s type thing as well, which is quite interesting. And I just really love details like that, where when you're talking about different characters with different backstories and things like this, the style changes in terms of artwork and then also how it's written, this kind of thing. I just find that a really nice touch whenever it's in comics and stuff, because it really sort of adds to the atmosphere and like character and stuff. I just think it's really cool, and I really wanted to quickly talk about it because it is something I really appreciate within a comic. I've now finished Black Hammer, so that is comic now number 4 done of the day, so I'm doing really, really well so far in terms of how much I've read. And once again, Black Hammer is a really fun time. It's a really good sort of alternate take on superheroes, in the sense that you've got superheroes who have essentially given up because they can't really go anywhere. They are trapped within this town. They can't go anywhere. They can't get out. They can't really do anything. This town doesn't know about superheroes or anything else, and something sinister is going on, but they've been trying for 10 years to try and fix it and get home and see what's going on and things like this, but nothing is happening and they can't do anything. So you are dealing a lot with superheroes who have given up and stuff like this, which I find really interesting and a really cool take on the superhero front, because usually heroes don't give up. Superheroes generally do not give up in these things. They never do. They keep on fighting and everything else. They do not accept defeat, whereas these ones have, which is a really interesting take on it. I will say there are 2 major trigger warnings I want to quickly talk about. Obviously I've left the rest of them at the bottom of the screen, but I do want to quickly mention 2 in specifics. The first one is a suicide attempt from someone who appears to be a young girl, but they are actually a middle-aged woman, but they look like a girl, and they are trying to attempt to commit suicide. They also have a drinking problem and things like this, so there's a lot of images of her drinking and smoking and things like this. And then also there is a scene in here as well where an ex-husband threatens his ex-wife with violence. I just wanted to quickly mention those 2 things in case they are triggering for you and you wanted to check this comic out. It's definitely worth reading, but I just want to make sure everyone has the trigger warnings before they go into it, so nobody ends up being triggered or anything. But overall, I would say this is a pretty good one to read. I'd say the artwork is also better than Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth. I much prefer the artwork in this one. I enjoyed the storyline as well, and I just generally enjoyed it. So again, it's getting 4 stars. Now, as for what I'm going to read next, I'm not quite sure. I'm just sort of looking through. I've got the final one of Trials of X, which I do fancy reading because it's the final one of Trials of X. I've got a whole load of Doctor Who as well, because naturally I have a load of Doctor Who. Actually, what I'll do is actually put a video here. I'll scoot over a bit and I'll put a video here so you can sort of see me scrolling through my comic collection and stuff, so you can sort of see what I'm trying to decide between. But I'm not sure what I'm going to go for at the moment. I'm just having a look through. I don't know. I'm not sure at the moment. I will have a proper look through and then decide in a minute, and obviously tell you what I'm reading when I've started reading it. But it's going to be hard to pick because there's a lot here that I want to read right now, and some of it I'm putting it off for various reasons. Some of it I don't fancy reading right now. I don't know. I'm going to have a look through and decide in a minute. I decided instead to read Mish the Bad Demon by Michelle Lamb, because this is a comic I have owned for nearly a year now, because I got this at Yalk. I literally opened it to find some stuff that I actually got from Yalk. It's still tucked into the front cover, so that tells you how long it's been on my shelf without me even opening it. And what better time to read this than now. And this is a really, really sweet story all about Mish, who is a demon, but she isn't really having the best time being a demon because she likes flowers and watching shows about fairies, and she can't breathe fire and things like this, whereas all of the other demons hate that type of stuff and they can breathe fire and everything else. Now all of a sudden all of the lava is turning people into stone, and Mish has to try and save them all. And I just want to point out, The artwork is the cutest thing. I'm loving the artwork in here and the general storyline of this so far. I'm only 70 pages in, but this is really sweet so far and I'm really enjoying it. Fifth comic finish of the day, and this was another one that was really fun and really sweet, all about prejudice and overcoming that, and friendship and working together, all of this kind of thing. Definitely perfect for younger readers, maybe about sort of 10 to 12ish. I'd say this is a really good one for them, and also anybody older who just likes reading about a good story about friendship and magic and family and fantasy and all of the rest of it. This was really good fun. Like I said, really sweet, and I'm giving it 4 stars. And now my camera battery is flashing at me, and I'm trying to not read too many superhero stuff right now because I know I'm going to spend most of these other vlogs, because I'm planning on doing like a weekly vlog for the entire month, are going to be superhero based. So I'm trying to find something that isn't superhero based, so I have a little bit of variety, and I'm stuck again. So I'm going to have a look through all my various stuff and hope for the best right now, but we shall see. I'll try and find something that isn't a superhero book, but who knows if I'll manage it. And just as I was looking for a brand new comic, I've just had a text to say that essentially everyone's coming home, so I've run out of time to read some comics, but I've managed to completely catch up. I am now fully up to date. I have read 7 comics so far this month, and it's currently the 7th. I didn't get further ahead like I wanted to, but at the very least, I am now fully caught up again, which I'm quite happy about, and hopefully I'll be able to squeeze in a couple of comics here and there over the next couple of days before I start a new vlog on Monday, but we shall see. Either way, in conclusion, I really enjoyed all of these comics. Specifically, I really liked Mish the Bad Demon, as well as Garlic the Vampire, and actually I just liked all of them, to be honest, for different reasons. I really enjoyed all of them, but definitely the standouts for me were Mish the Bad Demon, and then also I Think Our Son Is Gay and Black Hammer. I really enjoyed all of those. I really recommend them for different reasons. They are absolutely fantastic. All of the comics I read were really fun today. The only slight letdown was Sweet Tooth, but that was entirely a me thing, having watched the TV show first, and I think that just kind of spoiled me a little bit in terms of the story and things like this, which meant I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have done. But apart from that, I still really enjoyed that comic. I've really enjoyed all of the others, and I'm really happy to have read all of these comics and caught up with them and finally gotten all of these ones off my TBR. And that is where I'm going to leave this, because I don't really have anything else to say, to be honest, and I'm rapidly running out of time before everyone arrives back indoors again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me your favourite comic. I'd love to know, because apparently I need more comic recommendations that aren't superhero comics, because apparently that's all I read or all I own at the moment, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you've got any recommendations, leave them down below, or if you don't have that much time, leave me a book stack emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media fun to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics. If superheroes are your thing, or you want to get into superhero comics, all of that will be linked down below, as well as a link as well down below to my Bookish Etsy store if you want to treat yourself to something bookish today. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, everyone, bye!